There is a common question when people want to start some research work, whether undergrad, graduate, or PhD level research work. They want to be start the question, okay, give me some ideas what I should do, where should I start from. So this talk is about if you are looking some research ideas, particularly in geospatial and GIS related project. The example is related to a building footprints. There are different ways you can conduct a geospatial research while using a one idea, like using a building footprint. In this context, I just want to give you some idea how the people are using this building footprints in different ways. Sometimes they want to be categorize them into different type of the buildings, commercial, non-commercial areas, building apartmental, non-apartmental, and versus they're using the quality of the rooftop and versus the size of the building front. So there are three different things which I think it will be important to discuss with you guys. First one is how the building footprint layer in GIS environment can be created. So far the method we are using digitizing on-screen digitization method. And one of the example is a online platform provided by the OpenStreetMap where the people can digitize building footprints. And these days, Google and Microsoft bin products are also available, which is based on AI tool, and they extracted the building footprints from different satellite data sets. So, what are the possible topics? So, first topic is related how to create the building footprints, and I will show you later the examples what I mean. So there are different different ways to capture the information, but the most important thing is the quality of the data set, how you delineate it. The second option is value addition in this layer. So once you have the building footprint, so what kind of research activities you can conduct? That could be you can categorize the building footprints. Usually when you have that layer, that information is not available as a part of that product. So someone has to use different geospatial approaches, methodologies, techniques to categorize those buildings into residential and non-residential categories. So it's important because if you want to be use this information and try to be develop a proxy for the population or some other accessibility point of view. So you want to be know the nature of the type of the building footprints you have. So this is the one of the value you can conduct. So there will be a research that can focus how to how to categorize the building footprints. Another idea where the people can do is estimating the age of the building. So it's interesting, the remote sensing image processing technique can be used where we can use image classification like urbanization, the way we normally use urbanization using image processing. So the similar approach can be used where we can use a satellite images of different time frames. And when we have the building footprint, that is our current scenario. So we can see this is the most latest situation of on the ground. And then we can go back and satellite image and see which building is disappeared at what stage, and that information can be incorporated into the database. So in this way, we can categorize all the buildings when they appear on the map on the image, and that will give you the proxy or the nearest age of the building when appear on the map. So there are different methods. People are doing a number of research projects on that area, and depending on the nature of the urbanization, you want to be having a different kind of building, more concrete, high rise, or rural areas. So this can be very interesting to see how this research can be evolved in that. Another interesting area is to determine the building height as well as elevation. So this information is important for for different analysis. So how you can use digital elevation model, LiDAR data, and other techniques can be used to determine the height of the building from the street level, and then we need a street the elevation information. So that can be used for different purposes in that. So the research idea is somebody can focus and develop some methodology how to efficiently extract this information. Another interesting area is you once you have the building footprint, it has no uh, significant attributes like the building number or and any other address information. So we can add some to some extent by using other layers like road information. So we can assign the road information to the building footprints. And if we have any other land use or cadastral informations, that can be also overlay and assigned to the building footprint. So that can be also part of the database along with the residential and non-residential categories, age of the building, height of the building, elevation from the street level, and then we have the road names associated with that building footprints. We can also determine, depending on the high resolution satellite imagery and drone data sets you have, you can also determine the roof material type and the status, like how much is the rested or not rested area. So that can be also used for different kind of analysis which is required. This kind of information is usually required. So somebody can focus on that area, how to get the status and the material type of the building footprint rooftop. And there are there's some other information related to the polygon area, because usually when we capture this building footprint, it's a polygon, so we can definitely have a coverage area. And we can also determine the distance from the river or shoreline, or we can also use the calculate the information to the nearest building or nearest road or public transit route. So there are in first layer, once we have, so I can say like the first set of the research is how to delineate or extract the building footprint information. That could be including on-screen digitization or using AI-based tools just like Google Earth Engine and Microsoft Base. Then we can add some values. So this could be categorization of the building footprint. We can determine the age. We can determine the height and elevation of the building footprints, and also other information can be attached. So the next area is where you want to use this layer. Once you have this layer ready and they have a lot of information and attributed information attached with it, so now you want to see the potential use of this building footprint layer. So this can be used to determine the evacuation center catchment areas. If you want to planning evacuation due to certain disasters, so how you will be determining the catchment areas. This can be determined how many population, how many buildings within the catchment areas, and how many evacuation centers you need. Based on that, this kind of research can be done. And you can also use to determine the public transit route coverage or accessibility based on the distance from the routes and the road network. We can also determine the school catchment areas, and this is another area people can do the research determining the school catchment areas and healthcare accessibility as well. There is another interesting idea where you have informal settlements. In some countries, they have informal settlements are not too dense, but they are illegal squatter settlements. So they can also use to determine the mapping and and develop some proxy indicators how the peoples are planning to stay there or live there. And also we can also use this building footprint layer to see the river profiling and see the impact assessment along the river. So You can see there are different ideas for the research. So within the one layer, which is the building footprints, but you can conduct a number of research projects by using this idea. I hope you like this talk.